Alright, buckle up football fanatics, because we are diving headfirst into something absolutely massive today. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is not just another tournament, folks, it's a revolution in the making, and I am here to walk you through every single game-changing rule that's going to reshape the beautiful game as we know it. We're talking about more teams, more matches, more drama, and some genuinely groundbreaking adjustments that will impact everything from player strategy to fan experience, so get ready because this is going to be a deep dive into the future of football. Trust me, you do not want to miss a single detail of what I am about to explain to you. First up, let's tackle the elephant in the stadium, the monumental expansion of the World Cup to a whopping 48 teams. This is perhaps the biggest shift in the tournament's history, moving from the familiar 32-team format we've known and loved for decades. FIFA's reasoning behind this expansion is rooted in making the World Cup more inclusive, giving more nations a chance to compete on the global stage and truly live out their footballing dreams. It's about spreading the joy and the economic benefits of the World Cup to a wider array of countries, which I think is a pretty compelling argument for global development in the sport. Now, with 48 teams, the group stage format absolutely had to change, and FIFA has settled on 12 groups of 4 teams each. This means we'll still have that classic group stage feel where every match counts, but within expanded field it introduces new dynamics for progression. The top 2 teams from each of these 12 groups will automatically qualify for the knockout rounds, which is pretty straightforward and easy to follow. However, the really interesting twist is that the 8 best third-place teams will also advance, creating an extra layer of competition and strategy throughout the group stage. This new group stage structure with the best third-place teams advancing means that even teams who might struggle in their initial matches still have a fighting chance to make it through. It keeps more teams engaged for longer in the tournament, ensuring that the stakes remain incredibly high right up until the final group stage whistle. For coaches, this presents a fascinating challenge, as they'll need to balance aggressive play for wins with maintaining a healthy goal difference, or even just picking up a crucial point to be among those top third-place teams. I believe this will lead to some truly nail-biting finishes in many of the groups. The sheer number of matches is also going to skyrocket from the previous 64 to an astonishing 104 games. This increase means more football for us fans, which sounds amazing on paper, but it also brings significant logistical challenges for the host nations and for player welfare. The tournament will be spread across 3 countries in North America, the USA, Canada, and Mexico, requiring extensive travel and coordination. I think it will be fascinating to see how they manage the schedule to minimize player fatigue and ensure fair rest periods between games. Moving on from the grand scale of the tournament, let's talk about player welfare and a rule that has already seen some action: the 5 substitutions rule. Initially introduced as a temporary measure during the pandemic to help teams cope with congested schedules and increased injury risks, it has now been made a permanent fixture in the laws of the game. This means coaches will continue to have the option to make up to 5 changes during a match, which is a significant tactical advantage. I am personally a big fan of this rule because it genuinely puts player health first. The ability to make 5 substitutions fundamentally changes game management and tactical flexibility for coaches. They can now bring on fresh legs to maintain intensity late in a game, or introduce specialist players to address specific tactical situations without depleting their bench too quickly. This rule can be a game changer, especially in high-stakes World Cup matches where extra time and intense physical demands push players to their absolute limits. It also highlights the growing importance of squad depth, as teams with a strong bench will undoubtedly have an edge. Another crucial adjustment that we saw hints of in Qatar 2022 and which will be fully embraced for 2026 is the more accurate calculation of additional time. FIFA is committed to maximizing actual playing time and reducing time wasting, which is something I think every football fan can get behind. This means referees will be meticulously adding on time for every single stoppage, including goal, celebrations, substitutions, injuries, and VAR reviews. We saw matches extending well beyond 100 minutes in Qatar, and that's going to be the norm moving forward. This commitment to accurate additional time ensures that the game is played for as close to 90 minutes of actual football as possible. It discourages time-wasting tactics because teams know that every second lost will be added back on at the end of the half. For players, this means maintaining focus and fitness for potentially longer periods of play, which adds another layer of physical and mental challenge. I believe this change makes the game fairer and more exciting, preventing frustrating stoppages from disrupting the flow. Now let's discuss technology's continued role with the semi-automated offside technology and other VAR refinements. While not entirely new, this technology will be even more integrated and refined for the 2026 World Cup, building on its successful implementation in Qatar. It uses specialized cameras and AI to track player limbs and the ball, providing instant and highly accurate offside decisions. This greatly reduces the time spent on VAR reviews for offside calls, which is a huge win for maintaining game flow. The precision of semi-automated offside technology minimizes human error and reduces controversial offside decisions that can often overshadow a match. It ensures that goals are awarded or disallowed based on objective data rather than subjective interpretation, which is crucial for fairness at the highest level. I think this technology is a fantastic example of how innovation can enhance the game without completely removing the human element of officiating. It's about getting the big decisions right quickly and efficiently. Moving into some potential future rules or experimental ones that might just make their way into the 2026 World Cup, let's talk about the proposed offside rule adjustment, often dubbed the Arsene Wenger rule. This experimental change aims to encourage more attacking play and reduce the number of marginal offside calls that can stifle goal-scoring opportunities. The core idea is that an attacking player would only be offside if their entire body asterisk is ahead of the second to last defender. Imagine this scenario. If even a part of an attacking player's body that they can score with is level with or behind the defender, they are considered onside. This subtle but significant tweak would dramatically shift how teams play their defensive lines and how attackers make their runs. It would likely lead to more goals and more exciting attacking football, which I am all for. The debate around this rule centers on balancing attacking freedom with defensive integrity, but I believe it could inject a lot of dynamism into the game. Another experimental rule that's been trialed in lower leagues and could potentially be introduced for 2026 is the concept of temporary dismissals, often referred to as sin bins. This rule targets specific offenses like dissent towards officials or cynical tactical fouls that aren't quite red card offenses but warrant more than just a yellow. A player would be sent off the field for a short period, typically 10 minutes, giving the opposing team a temporary numerical advantage. I think this could be a really interesting way to manage player behavior. The idea behind sin bins is to provide a more proportionate punishment for certain infractions, without resorting to a full red card, which can often feel too harsh. It's designed to deter negative player behavior, especially dissent, which has been a growing concern in football. For teams, it would introduce a new tactical challenge, having to play with 10 men for a temporary period, which could lead to some incredibly tense and strategic moments. I am keen to see if FIFA deems it ready for the grand stage of the World Cup. Continuing on the theme of player conduct and referee interaction, there's a strong push for clearer referee communication and stricter rules regarding player behavior. We might see referees making public announcements about VR decisions similar to rugby, where fans in the stadium and watching at home can hear the explanation directly from the official. This would bring much needed transparency and understanding to often confusing VAR reviews. I think this would be a fantastic step forward for fan engagement. Furthermore, FIFA is looking to crack down on players surrounding the referee and showing excessive dissent. The emphasis will be on respect for officials, with rules potentially limiting discussions to only the team captain. This aims to reduce confrontational situations and maintain the authority of the referee on the field. It's about fostering a more respectful environment in the game, which I believe is essential for the long-term health and image of football. These small changes can have a huge impact on the overall feel of a match. Let's also briefly touch upon the increased focus on player safety, particularly concerning head injuries and concussions. While not a new rule in itself, there's an ongoing commitment to refining protocols around concussion substitutions and assessments. We might see more explicit guidelines or even dedicated medical personnel on the sidelines with the sole responsibility of monitoring potential head injuries. This is a critical area where the game must continue to evolve to protect its most valuable assets, the players. Their long-term health is paramount. The expansion to 48 teams will inevitably lead to more diverse matchups in the group stage, potentially pitting footballing giants against lesser-known nations. While some critics worry about a dilution of quality, I believe it offers incredible opportunities for underdog stories and memorable upsets. Imagine a smaller nation making a deep run in the tournament, capturing the hearts of millions around the globe. This is the magic of the World Cup, and the expansion could amplify that magic even further. The sheer number of matches also means an extended tournament duration, which will impact domestic league schedules around the world. Clubs will have to release their players for a longer period, potentially leading to more congested fixtures before and after the World Cup. This is a logistical puzzle that FIFA and domestic leagues are already working on, but it's a significant consideration for the global football calendar. It's a testament to the World Cup's growing stature and its ripple effect across the sport. With the new round of 32 introduced into the knockout phase, the path to the final becomes even more grueling and demanding. Teams will need to win an additional knockout match to lift the trophy, pushing their physical and mental limits to an unprecedented degree. This means deeper squads and meticulous rotation will be absolutely essential for any team hoping to go all the way. It's going to be an incredible test of endurance and tactical acumen for every single nation involved. The impact of the new rules isn't just about the on